Today, we're going to start some study of nuclear chemistry. This is a really exciting area of study. Obviously, it has to do with the nucleus, but in this week, we will be learning about nuclear power plants, which contain nuclear reactors. Many of you have probably heard of nuclear weapons. I will also give you some freedom if you would like to research how those work as well. But this is really some cutting edge chemistry. So let's get started. Nuclear chemistry obviously includes everything to do with the nucleus of an atom. Of course, cells have nuclei as well, but I'm not talking about cells. Let's go even smaller, the nucleus of an atom. And the nucleus of an atom, you can see here to review. Here we have a Bohr model of an atom. You can see here that you have electrons that are on the outer energy levels that are much, much smaller than the nucleus. So here's our electron, really, really small. But in the center, we have our nucleus, and our nucleus is comprised of two types of subatomic particles. And those are protons, which are given to you in red with the plus signs, and neutrons, which are in green. Remember that protons have a positive charge and neutrons have a neutral or zero charge. Rutherford was the first to discover that there was a nucleus that is really, really small, but it is dense, and it's always exactly in the center of the atom. So after his discovery, we started doing some more scientific work on what else is in a nucleus. And what was discovered is that there were neutrons. James Chadwick was the one to discover that there were neutrons. You can think of the neutrons like a glue that makes the protons stick together. So again, our nucleus has positive protons and neutral neutrons right there in the center. We do know that there are basically different versions of nuclei for different types of atoms. So those are called isotopes. An isotope is a form of an element that has the same number of protons, but it has a different number of neutrons from the other versions. Isotopes are basically versions of elements that are only different in the number of neutrons that they have. So on the screen here, you'll see that there are three isotopes of hydrogen. They are called protium, deuterium, and tritium. Protium, I guess the pro is 1, deuterium, the DEU is 2, and then the tritium, you can see TRI like tricycle, is 3. So in the isotope protium, there's only one proton, which you can see here. There is just one electron. So the mass of it is 1. In deuterium, you've got one proton and one neutron. But it's still hydrogen because it only has one proton. And then tritium, you've got one proton and two neutrons. So all three of these are the same in that they all have one proton, which means they are all hydrogen. If you change the number of protons, you would make a totally different element. For instance, if we changed it to 2 protons, you would have helium and not hydrogen. But the only difference between these three is the number of neutrons that they have. Our first protium right here has only 0 neutrons, 1 proton and 0 neutrons. Then deuterium has 1 neutron and tritium has 2. I do want to show this to you on a simulation that we're going to do today called Isotopes and Atomic Mass. So I'm going to click over to my simulation, and you can see here that the default is hydrogen 1. Hydrogen 1, the symbol over here shows you have the atomic number of 1, and you've got a mass of 1 as well. It says here that it's stable, and it's only got 1 proton. Now I want you to see what happens when I add 1 neutron. I've now made hydrogen 2. Its atomic mass is now 2. You can see that in the upper left corner of the symbol. And its atomic number is still 1, which makes it still hydrogen. You can see that this is stable, but you'll see that hydrogen 1 is much more abundant. If you look at the pie chart, it's 99.9885% of all elements of hydrogen, all atoms of hydrogen in the universe are hydrogen 1, which has no neutrons. Hydrogen 2 has just 0.0115% of the atoms. Now let's try for hydrogen 3, and we see that it is unstable. It is important for you to know that nuclei that are unstable, that's usually modeled by them shaking around in the simulation. They do not exist for a very appreciable amount of time. That's why under the Abundance in Nature tab, hydrogen 3 comes up as trace. That means only a small, teeny trace of all the atoms of hydrogen in the universe are hydrogen 3. We can keep experimenting. Hydrogen 4, it says it's 0%. That means this does not exist. Hydrogen 5 also 0%, so it does not exist. Now I can also reset and I can show you helium. You see that the difference in helium is now it has two of these little red spheres which represent protons. So it's got 2 protons and it has 2 neutrons. That's stable. I'm going to click the plus sign for the symbol and for the abundance in nature. You see 99.9999% of atoms of helium are helium-4, meaning it's got 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Let me try taking away a neutron. You'll see helium-3 is also stable. So that's another isotope of helium. It just has 1 neutron. It's a very, very small amount of all the atoms of helium, though. This one is only 0.0001% of all atoms of helium, but it is stable. So it looks like this is the most common form of helium, is helium-4. We can try adding a fifth. You see that this is unstable, and this isotope comprises 0% of all the atoms of helium. So that means it doesn't exist. Same thing for helium-6, helium-7, helium-8. None of those isotopes exist. So that is the way that you use the simulation that you'll have to do today for your work. In Google Classroom, I have the link to this simulation posted. Your assignment should look something like this. You can click on the link to go to Isotopes and Atomic Mass PhET simulation, and then you have some questions to answer on an attached Google Doc, which is loading here, but it looks like this. So I do give you some pictures here of what it should look like. We can first practice with boron. I'll do this first problem with you. So it asks you, what are the symbol, atomic mass, and abundance in nature of the isotope boron-11? Just to show you where I was here, I'm looking at number 1, so this question right here. So let's look for boron-11. I'll go back to my simulation. Boron is the symbol B, so I'll click on that. And you see it automatically gives to me boron-11. One thing to point out here as well is that it has the blue sphere, which represents the electron cloud. So if you look up here, up at the top, oh, where are we? There we go. If you look up here at the top, then you can count the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in this atom. So boron-11 has 5 protons and 6 neutrons, and it has 5 electrons. We'll click on the symbol and the abundance in nature. And let's go back to see what our question was asking. It asked for the symbol, atomic mass, and abundance. So in this case, you can see the symbol is right here. It's B with an 11 up at the top. 5 represents the atomic number down at the bottom. So we can type in here, this would be B, and you can type it in as 11. So just B11. The atomic mass is, here it is. We can click atomic mass or mass number, but it asks us for atomic mass. So we'll record 11.00931. And the abundance in nature. Quick reminder that abundance means how much of it there is. So boron-11, the pie chart tells us that this isotope is 80.1% abundant. That means of all the atoms of boron in the universe, 80.1% of them are boron-11. So that is our answer for this question, 80.1% abundant in nature. All right, so that's it. I will do one question with you on this table. So what this question asks you to do, it's a big data table here, and some of the information is given to you. You have to fill in the rest of the information. We can do the first column together. This one, we're supposed to find carbon-13. So you'll go back to your simulation. I'll click reset, click carbon. You see that the isotope that pops up automatically is carbon-12. To make it carbon-13, we have to add 1 more neutron. I'll go ahead and click the green plus signs to show my symbol and my abundance. And then what the question is asking us, it asks us for the symbol, it asks us for the name, for the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. It asks us for the atomic mass, and it asks us whether the isotope is stable or unstable. We can get all of that information from here. I see here that my atom has, trying to get to the pen. It's like it's not letting me. I can see that my atom has 6 protons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 neutrons, and 6 electrons. So I will go back over here, and it's got 6 protons, 7 neutrons, 6 electrons. I can see that the atomic mass is 13.00335. So I'll type that in here, 00335. The abundance is on this pie chart. It's only 1.07% abundant. That means only 1.07% of all the carbon atoms are carbon-13. So we'll put abundance 1.07%. And is it stable or unstable? You can see here it says beneath the nucleus it is stable. It's not shaking, so we're going to call this one stable. And then for the symbol, you can just put C13. That is how you're going to complete this work. This is primarily an exploration. We will do some more work tomorrow on me showing you diagrams of how nuclear changes happen. So please be ready for that. But in the meanwhile, good luck on your work. When you are finished, you can just hit turn in Google Classroom, and I'll hope to hear from you guys soon.